out mini stairs, and I've put together tutorials on how I did it. But in this video, I am going to be ripping out this horribly built set and replacing it with my own, which as you can see is attached to a new deck I'm building as well. There are so many common mistakes found on this set that I thought it would be a great time to highlight the do's and don'ts of stair building. First off, there is no landing on the base. The stringers are miscalculated, so they used a rock as the bottom step, which only covers half of the width. Plenty of the boards, and in fact almost all of them, are popping off. Some of them, the nails have completely pushed its way out. Some of the treads are completely loose because the stringers are so rotted out that the wood can't even hold on to the nails. Then looking down at the post, most are only in a few inches in the ground, and some are so rotted away that the case was almost unsupported. Let's go ahead and start there on the correct way to do stairs. A huge mistake on the previous stairs is they set the post in concrete, but didn't slope the concrete so that the water would run away. Instead, water pooled around the post. So if you set posts, definitely make sure you're pouring enough concrete to mound it slightly to shed water away. Also, I recommend putting a post sleeve on in-ground post. It's a super quick addition to where you use heat to shrink a moisture blocking sleeve around the base of the post. The sleeve doesn't have to extend to the bottom of the post, but you do want it to extend a couple inches above the ground. I use these sleeves on in-ground posts for deck, porches, fences, or mailboxes. Something the previous stairs completely ignored is a landing, which is the portion at the base after the last step, and by code it's required to extend past by at least 3 feet. These footing pads you see are called tough blocks. Using them was so fast and easy, I didn't have to dig deep holes or carry and mix concrete. There's a link in the description. This moves on to another common mistake, which is not taking the time to apply joist tape. These previous stairs are so badly cracked and rotted on the top side of the joist that the steps are practically falling off. This zone is the most susceptible to moisture damage because it's a collection point for water. However, joist tape will drastically prolong the life of your joist or stringers. I use a combination square to get it tucked nice and tight into the different corners. And I even wrap around the tail so that there's joist tape between the stringer and the hanger. Whenever it comes to fastening the stringers to the rim joist, this is one of the most common mistakes. The old set was literally held in with just a few toenails. That's not okay, people. There are stringer hangers that makes this connection strong but easy to install. Note that treated wood is corrosive to metal, although Prowood is less corrosive. I like to add a layer of joist tape between the hanger and the wood itself. This nailer also makes it easy. The tip of the nail protrudes enough for you to visually see it and nail in the placement. This is my first project to use the gun on, and I was highly impressed.
That's so cool, Jacob. That is legitimately awesome.
I've been using a palm nailer for years, but this gun is absolutely an upgrade.
That is so amazing.
On picking material, you should always use 2x12s that are treated and meant for ground contact. Now, be picky when choosing your boards. You want nice and straight without any big knots or splits in it. I know it can be intimidating to cut your own stringers and very easy to turn $100 of lumber into scrap wood. So know that Prowood pre-cut stringers saves you all of the math, cutting, time, and frustration. They have sizes from 2 steps all the way up to 8. It's made from southern yellow pine, which is one of the strongest framing species available. Know that treated lumber is treated to different levels, and these stringers are treated to the highest grade of protection and carry a lifetime limited warranty against rot and insects. However, if you do want to cut your own, there are online calculators for figuring your rise and run. But no cutouts must leave 5 inches of uncut width. It's this part here. Know there are boundaries you need to stay within when making your stringers. The minimum tread, which is the flat board, is 10 inches, and the max rise is 7 3/4. When trying to figure out your span, what you do is you measure horizontally.
So you're not allowed to have more than 6 feet unsupported. This is in line with that rim joist so that I can pull a tape and show you guys. From here to here, I'm at about 5 feet and 5 inches, so we're good to go.
spacing for stair stringers is 18 inches max. So 3 stringers is fine for a 36-inch wide staircase. But sometimes the minimum number of stringers will still feel bouncy. So no, there's nothing against adding an extra stringer, which is what I did here. Moving on to the treads, which is the horizontal piece of the step. Know that they must protrude at least 3/4 of an inch, but not more than 1 1/4. This is called nosing, and it's going to prevent you from kicking the step and stumping your toe as you're going up them. By the way, it's amazing how often I reach for the 6-inch combo square. I recommend throwing one in your tool bag. I'm using it here to set the overhang properly on both the left and right before screwing it down. Another common mistake is open risers, which means that you don't put a board on the vertical spots here. That is not okay, but you do see a lot of people do it. Know that code states you can't have an opening more than 4 inches wide. What I like to do is put on the treads first, and this way I can butt the riser directly up against it. Let's move on to talking about hardware. This is, again, another huge mistake people make. They end up using regular nails. And as wood is always expanding and contracting, it will eventually push out the nail if you use regular. So instead, I always take the added time to screw my treads and risers on. Since the wood is treated, you want to go with a corrosive resistant fastener. You can use something like galvanized, however, know that it will leave a black streak after it gets wet. If you want to avoid that, like me, then I recommend stainless screws. They are more expensive, but they're not going to corrode away and they won't leave those ugly black streaks. I personally like these Spax ones that have a reverse thread at the neck. And this is actually going to pull the boards down and together instead of pushing them away as you're driving the screws in. Okay, and then the last thing to consider for a lasting staircase is the material choice itself. I'm using Western red cedar on the rest of the deck, so I stuck with that for the staircase. I love the look of Western red cedar. I love the variety of colors and the tones. Not only it has when it's raw, but also whenever it's staked. However, other than just being beautiful, it is also one of the few woods that is naturally rot and insect resistant. Meaning, even without additional protection, it will hold up in the elements longer than almost any other species. Then, if you protect it and maintain it, it will last a crazy amount of time. Western red cedar is sold nationwide, so I'll leave you a link to find a dealer near you. Then one last thing about keeping your deck looking good. I highly recommend Fence Armor post guards. They're easy to install and shield your post from ugly damage done by string trimmers. Everything around my property, my fence, my deck, my mailbox post has one of these. It's a one and done thing where you set it and then forget about it. But it'll always be working to keep your post in tip-top condition. And there we have it. Just a single day in order to knock this out, and boy, what a difference. And truly, the thing is you can definitely build a staircase that will look good for a few months or even a year. But the do's and don'ts I covered in this video will make or break if your staircase will continue to hold up year after year after year. All right, I hope y'all got some good information about stair building. I will leave you a link to the other videos I've done on stairs. Up next in the deck building series is going to be the railing you see around me. So I'll see you on that video.